Hey y'all, it's Brandon with Voodoo Forge. Now, today, I'm going to show you how to turn this useless fire extinguisher into a wind chime. Honestly, the hardest part of this is getting the crap out of the inside. I've seen things where people make things and they just easily dump everything out and it comes out all nice and neat in a plastic bag or a trash can. That has not been my experience with this. Now the stuff in here, it's essentially baking soda. It's not toxic. You can eat the stuff. You do need to make sure wherever you take your trash off, or your garbage man or whoever, that you can dump it there. If you dump it somewhere on your place, excuse me, if you dump it somewhere on your place, this will kill any grass for about 6 months where you dump it, so don't do that. And but yeah, so first thing we're going to do is take this valve out, and then I'm going to get it turned upside down in my bucket and cut the bottom off and dump the crap out. First thing we got to do is get the valve out. So got to use the right tool. Now you can get these to dump out. I've done that, but it takes forever and you have to keep messing with them. So I found the easiest thing to do is cut a hole in the bottom. I don't bother trying to get my finished hole. I just cut a big nasty hole in the bottom where all this stuff will dump right out. A big nasty hole, you're going to need something to kind of poke through here. I spilled a little bit of this, but that's why I do it in the driveway. Just about. Yep. It's got all of it out there. Now we'll get ready for the next step. Well, my little trick, I was gonna video it, but it was dark by the time I got around to doing it, and video didn't turn out very well. But I had to burn a brush pile, and I threw it in the middle of the brush pile, and that got the powder coating to where it'll be easy to get off with a wire wheel. And that'll also leave a neat texture and patina on the finished product, which we'll cover with the clear coat. But now let's cut the bottom off this thing. I believe we can get by with the little bandsaw. Well, she can go all the way through. Just a little bit left. See if we can keep it in line here. Oh, come on, there we go. That is the body of our wind chime now. Keeping with our theme of using reclaimed material, we're going to take this aluminum fire extinguisher and cut some sections out of it so we can get some sheet aluminum to use for the wind catcher. catcher. Now we're gonna need something on top of our wind chime to hang it. This is a old piece of scrap 1.5 inch ID Schedule 40. Got a little more than 1 inch off of this. Just gonna clean up the edges on this aluminum. Not a lot to do to this. We want it to keep that, we want it to be obvious that it's reclaimed material. But take the hammer the edges, flatten it out. And then just hammer a little bit of texture in there. Now we got some hole drilling to do. As far as the ringer for wind chimes, I like to use a wooden ringer, because it softens the tone. And wind chimes ring on their own, so a softer tone is appreciated when you get a windstorm at 3 in the morning. But this is just some scrap 3/4 plywood. This is what our chain's going to attach to in the top. It's a piece of 1/4 by 1. It was just laying around scrap. I'm drilling a 1/4 inch hole in it. Our last hole is going to be in our wind catcher here. We'll pick a corner. Now I'm going to clean most of the funk off using the wire wheel here. And now I'm going to put on a respirator for this, because it can throw some nasty shit up. Now we're at the assembly phase of the project. This is just some tie wire. It's harder to do this when you have to stay in frame, which I hope I'm doing. Well, push it back in there a little. There we go. This is just some of that little hardware chain I use for things. I just made 2 loops on my ringer. Open up one of these. Just want to make this the bottom. Cinch it on there. You don't have to use this chain. You can get by with using some heavy fishing line. I, myself, like using the chain. It's got a wind catcher on there. Now I have done this where I got the top welded on and then attached to it, but honestly, that is a bit of a pain, so I don't do it that way anymore. And I also started using this wire on here, so it just makes it a little easier to get the chain on. But first, I need to weld this onto there. This doesn't have to be any particular kind of stock. It just needs to fit through your hole in your tank. Oh, a little shielding gas would help, wouldn't it? We want our ringer to hang right in here, so we will we'll undo this link of chain right here. We're going to feed it down through the hole. Might be easier to see if I took my hood off. That's still fairly warm. Okay, we've got it sitting in there. It's at a good height. So now, put this on here. I'm waiting for a decent day to clear coat this thing for a week, and I just don't think I'm gonna get one. So alright y'all, that's all there is to this. Now one of the things about the wooden ringer is it really softens the tone up, because these will ring by themselves. So you want to keep that in mind, especially have a windy day like we had yesterday. Normally I paint this stuff outside, but we had days and days of wind. I ended up having to bring it in the shop and clear coat it, and then the wind pretty much immediately died down. Now, this is the only thing in this that isn't made out of reclaimed material is the chain. That's it. So, it's a good project in that sense. I know some people probably won't like me burning the powder coating off, but I feel like it balances out. So, and you don't have to burn the powder coating off. You can just leave it on there and make it an obvious fire extinguisher wind tunnel. But anyway, hope y'all got some ideas from this, and y'all behave yourselves. Okay, by the way, if you hadn't subscribed to the channel, do that up there and do the like and the little bell thing. It's over there somewhere. And we have a homesteading channel, which is over here, and then there'll be a playlist over here, I think, and then a video over here. You should look at those. You got time.